Welcome back. Last we left off, Quirin tried opening the door without knocking again, much to the displeasure of Mr. Miller. Bedelia chuckles as she watches the party's awkward approach and says, "You're an interesting bunch." She motions for the party to let her pass to the door as she takes out a key ring with a dozen or so keys attached to it. She knocks on the door politely. "Mr. Miller, it's me and your guests. They've taken care of the horror. Can we come in?" There's a short pause before the silence is broken once more.
"I suppose, so long as they haven't harmed you."
"No, I'm perfectly safe," she says as she unlocks the door and pushes it open. A bedside lamp fills the room with light.
"To whom do I owe the pleasure? I've sent out quite a sum of letters. Forgive me for not knowing all your names by heart,"
says the old man, welcoming everyone in. The party now sees Miller, an old, bedridden human. His eyes have a vague intensity similar to that of a realistic painting that always seems to follow you wherever you go. Most of his body is covered by bedsheets, and on top of those are a variety of books and scrolls. Beside him is what could be a staff or a walking stick. He has definitely seen better days. Everyone begins to introduce themselves formally to Mr. Miller. Zalara steps up, puts her hand on her chest, and greets him with a polite bow. "I'm Zalara Sternfell, elf of the astral planes and all-purpose artisan. I'm very interested to know more about what you said in the letter and the current situation." She bows again and moves to the side, as to let the next person talk. Quirin, hearing Zalara's words, smiles to himself gently before his face takes on an expression of penitence as he slowly steps over the door's threshold and his eyes fall on Mr. Miller.
"Forgive my rudeness, sir. One cannot be too careful, especially when invited into such a complicated situation."
He bows deeply and continues.
"Quirin Hawthorne, luthier and member of Hawford Artisan Guild, at your service."
Next is our fellow dwarf.
"Bromgus Trueblood, servant of Lathander. You must be Mr.
Bromgus can't seem to remember. He consults his note.
"Miller? Are there more hurt people here? This seems to be like a dangerous place, and I'd like to help anyone who is in trouble."
Mr. Miller looks to Bromgus and says,
"Unless you have access to a greater restoration spell, your healing will not be of much help."
Bromgus bows and politely steps to the side upon hearing the answer.
"Good morning, Mr. Miller, sir. My name is Julian SEO2, a tinker by trade, of trades, as you must well know. I'm afraid I lost the letter you sent me, if I may. Do you have a space for boiling water? I believe I saw some nice-looking leaves outside, and everyone here looks like they could use a nice hot tea. Besides, someone has to check on Henry, or he'll kick up a fuss."
Miller looks to Dion.
"Everything you may need should be in the kitchen. I can guide you, though you may need to be patient with me as my legs are not what they used to be."
With that, Dion steps aside to pass on the metaphorical baton. "I am Trist, a finder of old things and places, and some not so old. I come from a land far through elsewhere, I suppose. This is Arxis, a friend I met on my journey to these lands. I received your letter, though I am not sure why, and I now find myself quite interested in the strange happenstances occurring in this place."
"It is a pleasure to meet all of you, and I am deeply sorry we had not met under better circumstances."
His withered hand waves, pointing from one end of the room to the other, and finally to himself.
"As you can see, the manor has seen better days, and I as well. I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. I thank you for your service. You are free to help yourself to anything left over in the mansion, including the safe hidden in the hedge maze. The code is 81932.
He pauses to catch his own breath and takes a sip of water from the glass he had beside him.
"The house was raided by my extended family when one of them crossed the line and hurt one of the servants of the house. It opened my eyes to their insatiable greed, so I disowned them from the inheritance. I left everything to the servants and to Vidalia's mother, Morticia. They then conspired to take everything from me and kill me. During the raid, Morticia sacrificed her life to save me.
He pauses once more, taking in a deep breath.
I was unable to resurrect her as one of them used one of the artifacts I had discovered to limit my magic. The Hummed Whores are recent guests who showed up not long after Vidalia did. I assume one of them got wind of the situation and sent out those mindless husks after the two of us.
Do you think that we'll keep attacking this place? It doesn't seem like they would benefit anything from it, but if their hearts are still filled with rage. You did write something about restoring the manor, right?
There's a mixture of worry and hope in Zalara's voice.
Yes, I called on you adventurers to help retrieve the magical keystones of the house. That is how the manor will be restored. What I'm asking you to do is to deal with my family, whether that be through diplomacy, thievery, or brute force. I leave that up to you. At the end of this, you will be inheriting the house and the boons that come along with the artifacts. Once my family knows they won't be able to dispatch of me so easily, they will not send any more attacks. Besides, that was the last of the Hummed Whores I made, and I severely doubt they have the ability to make more. Have I missed any details or questions?
Says the old man.
Who are the people we need to deal with? And do you know where they are now? Should we check the safe first?
Romulus looks worried and says, more quietly,
Is there a map to the maze? The maze is fairly simple. Nothing more than entertainment for the guests, so long as the relic isn't restored.
Miller explains in a more hushed tone in response to Bromkiss's inquiry.
The first item will be a test, as the one in possession of it has always had poor organization skills. My son, Ben II Miller, and his wife, Lacey Miller, are in possession of it. From the messages I've managed to decode from our weak connection to the Fae of the land, they have a trading company down by the city of Thruss. I know I expect much of you, but I know you will all leave me dumbfounded at the willpower I know you all hold. There may be a clue in Ben's old room.
He points over to the door you came from and continues.
It's the one at the end of the hall. I also prepared some weapons that will improve the more you experience. I made them for my grandchildren, but never found an appropriate time to pass them down. They are yours. Take it as a token, marking the beginning of our new family.
So, the magical keystones restore the magic to the manor, which in turn restores the manor. But what value do the keystones hold themselves? There must be a reason for them to hold on to them.
Zalara says, like she is just thinking out loud. She then suddenly looks at Miller, all excited again, as she interrupts her own train of thoughts.
Oh, magical items are the best. I'm learning all about crafting, infusing, and enchanting things. That's how I made this.
She taps her armor and opens her hand to show the gem inside. Then her expression quickly changes and she is now looking a bit sad and looks down on the floor.
But I'm not really good with weapons at all, sadly, so I don't think they will do me any good.
Seems like you possess a weapon far greater than any physical trinket,
Dylan says as he taps his temple.
Well, let us not take any more of your precious time, good sir. It seems as though you and your niece likely have a lot of catching up to do. We will search your son's room and let you know any interesting tidbits we may find.
Dylan smiles at Mr. Miller and gently puts his hand on the end of the bed. He then turns to leave to investigate Ben's old room. Corin offers to help Mr. Miller to get out of bed and assist him walking out of the room. As the old man gets up with Corin's assistance, he says,
The first keystone you'll be retrieving is a bountiful storage with a Fae assistant that keeps things organized and sometimes may assist with recommendations. In simple terms, a bag of holding you can walk into safely for a longer amount of time with someone there to help. Zalara, if you are the tinkering type, under my guidance, you may be able to perform modifications on the magical items I'm offering to better suit you.
Vidalia helps support Mr. Miller from the other side.
You all now are able to see this man is frail. Had you not heard him speak, you may have mistaken him for a corpse. His legs and arms seem thin and his skin is sickly and dry. He pulls down his shirt that had been raised when he got out of bed. Those of you looking see a spiral scar that extends out all over his abdomen. This particular area seems as if it were poisoned due to the unnatural green hue of his veins, visible through his pale skin. You don't know which the true horror is, that armor that attacked everyone, or whatever did that to him. And well, we'll find out more next time. See you next week. If I upload on time. I got sick. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to have fun. I hope you guys are having fun too watching these things. And hey, if you liked it, leave a comment, maybe hit that sub button, just give it a big old, little whack, just a little love tap, just like that. Yep, right there. Just, yep. There you go. Thank you.